Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're gonna do the camera review of the ASUS Zenfone for Selfie. So ASUS Zenfone for Selfie is, as the name indicates, is selfie focused smartphone, and here we have a dual selfie cameras. We have a primary 20 megapixel selfie camera. There is also secondary 8 megapixel camera. There is LED flash, and on the rear panel we have another 16 megapixel shooter with LED flash. So it is a selfie focused smartphone. So in this video we will talk about the camera interface, the camera samples which we have taken, and also how good the camera is for this price segment. So without any further delay, let's get started. So first up, let's have a look at the specifications of the camera. So the primary 20 megapixel front facing camera has a f-stop 2.0 aperture, and here we have the secondary 8 megapixel camera, which is 120-degree wide angle camera for group selfies, and this is the regular camera. And the 8 megapixel wide angle camera has a f-stop 2.4 aperture, and it also has an LED flash. So you can see the LED flash is available on the front panel. Now on the rear panel we have a 16 megapixel shooter with again f-stop 2.0 aperture, and we have LED flash included for taking low light captures. Now let's go to the camera interface. So we can see this is the new camera interface. So this is with the ASUS Zenfone Zen UI 4.0, and here we have a lot of options included. We have a 4:3 aspect ratio, HDR enabled mode. Then if you go to settings, you can set the camera resolution. Then full HD video recording is supported, that's the maximum. Then you also have instant camera, double click a volume key to launch the camera. Then if you go here, we have the option to view the gallery, switch to front facing camera, and then we have the option to record videos, and there is also professional mode wherein you have the option to change the exposure, white balance, shutter speed, etc. So that's the pro mode. And now let's go to the other modes available. So if you swipe from the top, you can see there are lots of filters included, and if you swipe from the bottom, you can see there are additional modes like pro mode, GIF animation, time lapse, beauty mode, super resolution, and panorama are included. So the camera interface looks nice, and it's a more cleaner UI than the previous Zen UI, and it's fast as well. So it has face detection, autofocus, and also the rear camera has 3-axis electronic image stabilization, EIS is included for the rear camera. So now this is the front facing camera of the primary camera. So we have two options. One is for wide angle selfie, so you can see wide angle camera, and the other one is the main camera, that's a 20 megapixel camera, and we have video recording, that's also full HD, and we get additional options for the 20 megapixel camera as well. The video recording, you can see that's full HD, and here we have this beautify mode, and we have some additional options for the beautify mode as well. So we can go for the auto mode for selfies as well. Now if you want to take group selfies, see here we have this toggle, so select this, and this is the wide angle camera if you want to take group selfies. The phone can also take portrait images using the selfie camera, and that's the background defocus or the bokeh mode. So that option is also available in the camera interface. So that was the camera aspect of the ASUS Zenfone for Selfie. Now let's go to the camera samples which we have taken with this device. So these are the daylight captures taken with the ASUS Zenfone for Selfie, and 16 megapixel shooter did a good job with the color reproduction. Most of the times the colors were quite okay, but at times it does have the tendency to oversaturate the images, especially when you're taking images of the sky. You could see it is slightly oversaturated, but one thing what we were not impressed was the sharpness levels of the camera. It was not really sharp images, and when you zoom in the images, you could see some noise creeping in. So not the best experience, but most of the users will not find the camera disappointing. It is quite an above average camera for a 15K price segment. The ASUS Zenfone for Selfie rear camera does a decent job altogether. Definitely not the best out there, but for most users it won't disappoint. The close-up images also did a decent job altogether with the color reproduction, but again the sharpness levels were not that impressive. Now next up, the low light performance of the ASUS Zenfone for Selfie, and here again you could see that the low light was not very impressive, and again strictly average performance, and you could see noise creeping in the low light captures, and not the best experience definitely. And when light drops in, you could see noise is more predominant in the low light captures. So these are some of the low light captures which we have taken using the rear camera, that's a 16 megapixel shooter on the ASUS Zenfone for Selfie. And here is a video recording sample taken with the rear camera, the 16 megapixel camera with 3-axis electronic image stabilization. And here you could see that while electronic image stabilization was not very consistent, it did a decent job altogether. While the major issue was the autofocus. The autofocus was not that great. In video recording, the autofocus was kind of very slow to focus things, so not the best recording again using the rear camera. So this is the video recording we are taking using the 20 megapixel shooter on the ASUS Zenfone 4 Selfie, and this is capable of taking video recording in full HD, and this is the outdoor sample we have taken, so you could judge yourself with the camera quality using the 20 megapixel shooter. The 8 megapixel shooter can take wide angle selfie. Now let's talk about the selfie experience of the ASUS Zenfone 4 Selfie. So the primary 20 megapixel camera takes regular selfies. These are the regular selfies taken with the primary 20 megapixel camera, and it did a quite good job considering that 15K price segment we have a dual selfie camera, and I could see the colors were quite acceptable, and also the dynamic range was kind of acceptable again, but the sharpness levels could have been slightly better for the selfies, and also at times the background gets overexposed. That's not happening all the time, but in a couple of selfies we did experience that. But overall for a phone in the 15K segment, this is quite good selfie experience overall. So these are the photos taken with the 20 megapixel primary selfie camera on this device. So this camera can also do a bit of bokeh mode with the software algorithm, and here you could see that the bokeh mode was not very consistent. Unlike the Vivo V7 Plus, the bokeh mode was inconsistent, and you could see the edge just getting blurred out. So the bokeh mode was still needs a lot of improvement when you consider other phones offering that. But considering the price segment, it's again a quite a decent selfie experience. Now there is also a wide angle selfie lens. That's an 8 megapixel shooter for group selfies. So as I said before, you can trigger the wide angle mode, and these are some of the wide angle selfies taken with 8 megapixel camera, and again they come quite well. So overall the 20 plus 8 megapixel camera combination did a good job altogether considering the price aspect. So for a 15K price segment, there are no dual camera setups available right now, and the ASUS Zenfone 4 Selfie will not disappoint for selfie lovers. So that was a detailed camera review of the ASUS Zenfone 4 Selfie. So we have talked about the rear camera, the selfie camera, the video recording of both the cameras, and overall we would say it is definitely an above average camera on the ASUS Zenfone 4 Selfie. Considering the price segment, the rear camera was not the best, but will not disappoint most of the users, and the selfie experience was definitely good considering that none of the smartphones offer dual camera in this price segment. So overall, if you're looking for a selfie focused smartphone in the 15K price segment, the ASUS Zenfone 4 Selfie will not disappoint you. But the rear camera definitely needs a bit more improvement. So that was the camera review of the ASUS Zenfone 4 Selfie. Hope you enjoyed watching this. Do hit that like button and also hit the red subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.